Hello, this is Doug Fuller, and I'd like to share a testimony of how God provided housing for us when He moved us to Flagstaff, Arizona, and He took us out of debt too. We were living in Oregon, and God wanted to move us to Flagstaff, Arizona. I was praying for God to take us out of debt um, and to give us a house about half the size of the one we had in Oregon. And I was praying for God to give us a house on a cul-de-sac because we had a 2-year-old child. I was thinking that he would do that in Oregon, but instead he wanted to move us to Flagstaff, Arizona, and that's kind of a long story why he did that. But anyway, he did lead us to Flagstaff, and in the process of coming to Flagstaff, we flew into Phoenix to find a house to rent, and we're only going to be in Flagstaff for a few days. And I didn't want to buy; just wanted to rent. But anyway, all the homes that were for rent were also for sale, and that wasn't going to work for us. I didn't want to, rent a place and then have to pack up and move and set up a home again, especially with a 2-year-old. So anyway, it was Sunday. The following day, Monday, we were going to have to fly home from Phoenix back to Oregon. And I was kind of upset because I really believed that God wanted us to move us to Flagstaff, and He did. Um, but it was Sunday, and we didn't have a home to rent, and we were on our way to church. Somebody recommended the church that we go to, and also the person who told us to go to a certain church also told us I should talk to a person who was on the worship team. Anyway, after church service, I introduced myself to the guy and told him that I felt like God was moving us to Flagstaff, and anyway, that we didn't have a home yet, and he said we should go to University Heights. God would open doors for us. Well, we'd already been to University Heights. The lower part of it was heavily treed and a lot of older homes, which didn't really work for us. Anyway, after church, I took my wife and my son back to the hotel to take a nap, and I drove back into the University Heights area and actually went up a different street and all the way up into the University Highlands area, which was up above. And I made a left turn on one street, another left turn, and I found myself in a cul-de-sac. At the end of the cul-de-sac it was short. It was a little kiddie park, a little park for toddlers. And anyway, I turned the car around and started to leave the cul-de-sac, and I noticed that there was a house for sale. So I stopped and got a flyer. It was listed for sale. It wasn't a for sale by owner. It was listed with a real estate agent. But I got a flyer, and the man in the front yard was washing his dog. They had a backyard, but for some reason he was washing the dog in the front yard. And he said to me, would you like to come in and take a look at the place? So I did, and his wife was packing up, and they were going to be out of the house within 2 weeks. We had to be into a home within 2 weeks. Anyway, the house was half the size of the one in Oregon, and it had really good light, which my wife wanted. And we ended up buying that home, and we ended up closing escrow in 2 weeks, which was unheard of back then. This is a number of years ago. And we got a loan on it and closed escrow in 2 weeks. We were into the house in 2 weeks, and then our home in Oregon sold. And when our home in Oregon sold, we paid off the loan on our home in Flagstaff, and then we lived there rent free the rest of the rent free. We lived there debt free the rest of the time. Also, so God basically gave me what I asked for, which was to take us out of debt. I asked him to take us out of debt. I asked him for a house half the size of the one we're living in Oregon, and I asked him for a house on a cul-de-sac. He provided all that, and in addition to that, he provided a toddler's park at the end of the cul-de-sac, and he also provided one of the best schools in Flagstaff, right around the corner, elementary schools in Flagstaff, right around the corner from where we're living. So basically, when God wanted to move us to Flagstaff, I didn't know how He's going to provide housing for us and where that would be and what it would look like, but He did, and He provided us what we asked for when we were willing to do what He wanted, which was move to Flagstaff, Arizona.